The next group of debate has Dr. Shreesh Kumar, a dynamic surgeon and a hospital superintendent, medical superintendent, and leading the cornea department at the Eye Foundation group of hospitals. He's going to be talking on a very controversial topic, cataract with pterygium surgery at the same sitting. And he's going to be very aptly countered by Dr. Parul Mehta, who's a shining light from Baroda with her major skill sets in corneal surgeries and is a medical director of Sameep Eye Hospital and Cornea Center, who will tell us why they have to be done at separate sittings. So Shreesh, on to you. And Mr. Sunil, you have to be very strict about keeping the watch on time.
Yes, ma'am.
We have very good speakers ahead.
Good evening. Thank you, Dr. Chitra, for the opportunity. So I am debating for simultaneous or combined procedure, that is phaco with pterygium surgery in a single sitting. Why combined procedure? So we all know UV exposure is a common etiological factor for both pterygium and cataract. Thus, simultaneous occurrence, which is not uncommon, especially in tropical countries like India. Simultaneous procedure is usually preferred by the patients as it results in rapid visual improvement and lesser number of hospital visits and patient convenience and lower cost of surgery. So pterygium, as we all know, it induces astigmatism, and the astigmatism, it depends on the length, width, and depth of pterygium, which is extending onto the cornea. Usually it produces Vitti-rule astigmatism, and the more the corneal involvement, more is the induced astigmatism. And the pterygium produces significant astigmatism if it occupies more than 45% of the distance between the limbus and the visual axis. So pterygium excision decreases astigmatism. This is what we all know. And the curvature changes. The horizontal curvature becomes more curved, and the vertical axis becomes less curved once the pterygium is excised. I just want to give a few case examples. This is a grade 3 pterygium, which is occupying the almost half of the cornea, reaching up to the pupillary margin. If you see the topography here, the distortion of the surface and the astigmatism it has produced is almost 13.9 diopters. And once the pterygium is removed, and after 8 weeks of surgery, if you see the picture here, it is almost regular. There is a 2.5 diopters of astigmatism left. So this is a comparative chart which shows 13.9 diopters of astigmatism is reduced to 2.5 diopters of astigmatism, and the change is 11.5 diopters. So these kind of patients, definitely you should go ahead and do a pterygium surgery first, wait for 6 to 8 weeks, and then go ahead and do cataract surgery. However, if you see a case like this, a double head pterygium, grade 1 to grade 2 pterygium, and the astigmatism is not high, it's just 1 diopter. And once the pterygium is excised, that is 6 to 8 weeks after the surgery, this is 8 weeks after the surgery, and the astigmatism is reduced to 0.6 diopters. So the difference, the post-operative astigmatism is 0.6 diopters, which is reduced from 1 diopter. So these are the cases we can always plan a combined surgery. It doesn't matter. It doesn't hardly matters as far as the outcome is concerned. So the induced astigmatism is usually Vitti-rule astigmatism. As the head of the pterygium approaches the apex of the cornea, a tear meniscus develops between the corneal apex and the elevated pterygium, which causes an apparent flattening of normal corneal curvature, which can lead to overestimation of IOL power. So we analyzed our results and published in International Journal of Ophthalmology and Visual Sciences. So visual and refractive outcomes following simultaneous phacoemulsification and pterygium excision with conjunctival autograft. We included 508 eyes over a period of 6 years, and the phacoemulsification was done through 2.2 to 2.8 millimeter incision, and autograft was fixed using tissue glue. And the grading of this pterygium, it was graded according to the extent of involvement, and it's our own grading system, which was published in Indian Journal of Ophthalmology, grade 1 to grade 4. And we included patients with the visually significant cataract, and phacoemulsification was done first. And the cases included were primary pterygium, both temporal and nasal pterygium, and even double head pterygium was also included, grade 1 to grade 2. Once the phacoemulsification is done, I usually place the air bubble in the antechamber. This actually prevents collapse of antechamber when you are negotiating pterygium. And a thin graft is taken and it is fixed on the base scleral bed using tissue glue. In almost all the cases, received tissue glue. And the patients with the nasal pterygium received a temporal incision, and patients with temporal pterygium received superior incision. This was our results. The manifest cylinder was minus 0.73 diopters, plus or minus 0.5 diopters. And when we compared our results, analyzed our astigmatic data, we found that there was a significant drop in higher astigmatism, that is 1.5 to 1.25 to 2 diopters, from close to 49% to 19%. And there was a significant increase in the number of patients who had nil astigmatism, that is 9.5% to 31.5%. So that shows there was a significant drop from higher astigmatism to lower astigmatism, and lower astigmatism to nil astigmatism. And spherical refractive error, 65% of our patients had a nil spherical error, and the remaining 30% of the patients had a spherical error less than 1.5 diopters. So other complications were not significant. And we compared it with one more study. There's hardly any study which compared these phacopterygium combined and without combined and sequential. So we compared our results with this study, and the mean manifest astigmatism in our study was 0.73 diopters, whereas it was 1 diopter in their study. So the post-operative myopic residual error can be anticipated, and it can be reduced by slightly undercorrecting the IOL power to optimize the visual outcome. An important point to note is to avoid any intraocular operative correction of preoperative astigmatism or cylindrical error. The last, the susceptible population in our tropical areas, it consists largely of daily wage laborers, and loss of days of work on account of surgery, it amounts to loss of income. So a single procedure, it results in reduced hospitalization, it reduces cost and morbidity, and reduces loss of work days compared with the 2 separate procedures. So I prefer in small pterygium simultaneous surgery, which is definitely preferred, as it may not make a significant difference in the outcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Shreesh.